Hi guys, and welcome back to Movies That Matter with the Viking. And James Mangold, movie director, got in some hot water last night on Twitter because he took a swipe, made some comments about the Schneidercut movement and fandom, and people didn't take it too lightly. But before I get into his comments, let me just say that I am a huge fan of James Mangold. He was one of my favourite directors, and any film that he's attached to or a part of, I automatically get excited and make sure to watch it. He's one of my favourite. I love his style. I love the way that he does films. So these are just my comments in response to what he said. Now, if you don't know who James Mangold is, he is the director of 2017's Logan, of course starring Hugh Jackman, a spin-off solo film of the X-Men franchise. And in my opinion, Logan is the best Marvel film ever made, and it is a masterpiece, in my opinion, in my top 5 of all time in comic book movies. He also did Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix, a biopic of the great, late Johnny Cash. I really enjoyed that film and I loved it so much. Big fan of Joaquin too. He also did The Wolverine in 2013, which was, I liked half of it, the ending was a bit off, and his latest feature is Ford versus Ferrari, which did very well, critically, and at award shows. But this is what James Mangold said last night on his Twitter account. Fellow cinephiles, have you ever spent some time with the work of Martin Ritt? You should. Maybe take 10 minutes off from your picketing for the Schneidercut and watch something where the wardrobe is in fiberglass or carbon fibre. Now, that was kind of unneeded from James Mangold. There was no need to kind of take a swipe at the Schneidercut movement. Maybe it was in his head because there was talk around the Harley Quinn episode, or maybe he's seen other things on Twitter before. But to be honest, there was no need to actually go at the Schneidercut movement when the Schneidercut movement has never done anything to him. And I'm a big fan of his films, and I talk about him positively the whole time. So that was just kind of a bit out of place from James. And of course, people in the movement were a little taken aback by his comments, and people were respectful enough. They didn't go at him in a bad, trolly kind of way. And this was his tweet this morning. I woke up to an avalanche of angry tweets. So let me try to set something straight, something that may only make you angrier. But at least you'll understand me. I don't know Zack Snyder. I got nothing against Zack. My gentle shot at the S-Cut movement was not a blast at him. No, I don't see why he would have a blast at us, to be honest, but that was his tweet. And he says, "an angry tweets." If you go look at the tweet, there's nothing too bad that's underneath the tweets. A lot of them are kind of maybe aggressive in their opinion of saying, look, there is a cut of the film that Zack wants to be seen, and we're just fighting for artistic integrity, and we do good things as a movement. That's what was under his original tweet. It wasn't this kind of attack that he's painting himself. Then he continued to say, "I doubt very much that Zack is waking every day thinking about his original 3-hour cut of a giant corporate endeavour that was ill received. Maybe I'm wrong, but unlike some of you who have turned your disappointment into outrage and a cause, I'd venture to say he has moved on." And look, that's not true at all. Zack, of course, fights with the fan base for the movement. He helps us, he shows us picture, he interacts with us, and that's completely false from James's opinion there. Zack does talk about his cut a lot, and he does release pictures, and he interacts with fans, and we do the same. So of course you'd want to see his film, and I'm just kind of baffled by James Mangold's comments. But I do like how he tried to clear up his comments and help us understand what he was thinking. He also said this: "So if I was making a little joke at the expense of anyone, it was not Zack. I'd love to see another film of his soon, one hopefully without massive pre-existing merch deals and a preset plan for a multi-tiered release of a multi-moving universe burdened by corporate expectation." So he's a big fan of Zack. He's not taking anything against Zack or anything like that. But he was taking a swipe at the Schneidercut movement and everything that we've done. Maybe he looks at us in a toxic way, because that's what a lot of bloggers and YouTubers do. They paint us as toxic and as bad people who only want trouble, which is completely false. When you go into the Schneidercut movement, you can see all the good things that goes down, the interaction with fans, the positivity, and especially the things for charity like suicide prevention, homelessness, and hunger and things like that, and then interacting and working with Subway to feed people. So they're all the good things. And for me personally, James Mangold was kind of out of place in his comments, and then he tried to backtrack them, but also kind of stay with them. Then today, when he made these tweets, he also then apologized. So apologies for angering anyone, as some have recognised. I was just making a quip about vast areas of great cinema that are less obsessed about, not a shot at Zach. Now, he was recommending us to go and watch something. That's okay, but he was also telling us not to. You can either have one or the other. Why can't we have both? Why can't we go and enjoy another person's work, but also fight for Zack Snyder's vision and to see his film? I don't see anything wrong with that at all. We're doing no harm to anybody. So I think his tweet was just a little bit. He shouldn't have made it, in my opinion. Like, I don't know how he just picked the Schneider Cut movement when there's loads of different fan bases who are way more toxic, way more mean in their responses to things like this. But we took it on the chin and we gave constructive responses back, and this was one of them. Big majority of the tweets were not angry. Majority were asking why you have to tear something down to prop something else up. Going for the Schneider Cut is an easy shot. That's from Matthew on Twitter, and exactly, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Why bring down something that's doing good, or if people are interested in that certain thing and they want to see it, then who is James Mangold to tell those people they're in the wrong? No, it's not doing any harm to anybody whatsoever. This is another one of the comments that was issued to James Mangold. He literally keeps telling us he wants his movie to be released. Like, really, I don't understand this snark, especially coming from you. Why would a director be against fans supporting another director? What's bad about fans wanting to see a movie come out? And that's another perfect response towards James Mangold. And of course, the picture there of Zach, who showed his reel of his cut of Justice League, and then Zach using the hashtags, and then he has yet to rise with Superman. So look, this narrative that Zack Snyder has given up on his film is completely false and completely wrong. Josh Trank, the director of Fantastic Four 2015 and the director of Al Capone, starring Tom Hardy later this year, he said this. It's Twitter. Recommending classics by way of a shot at current fandom never ends positively. I've personally made this mistake before with far worse blowback, and I've apologised. It's just not the most effective way to draw the passionate newcomers to cinema. All respect to you, James Mangold. It's Josh Trank there giving his view on everything, and maybe saying to Mangold his approach and the way he wanted to say it wasn't probably the best way, because fans do react in this way and they do tell you very quickly if you are in the wrong or if they think they're in the wrong. And Josh Trank, of course, had his own problems with the studio at Fox in making his Fantastic Four film, and he even publicly admitted that it wasn't his film and that they changed things. Even go back to the very first trailer of Fantastic Four, a brilliant trailer, gave me real Interstellar vibes, and nearly all that trailer isn't in the film, so very similar to what happened with Zack Snyder in an essence. And that was James Trank's opinion on it, and James Mangold got back to him. Thanks, Josh. By the way, Copland, which stars Sylvester Stallone, you've seen wasn't my cut. My cut got accepted into main comp at Cannes, but Miramax kept it out, forced reshoots and recuts and voiceover. Painful. But in time, I recognised my original version wasn't that much better than what resulted. Learned and moved on. There he is kind of taking a swipe at Zack Snyder there. Learn from the mistake, or learn from what happened and move on with it. He said none of this was an attack on Zack Snyder or anything like that, but that kind of last comment there is kind of telling Zack Snyder and telling the fans to move on. It's not going to happen, and like, that's completely, it's not accurate, and it's just not right from James Mangold to tell a director, a fellow filmmaker, a fellow maker of art to move on from a project that they feel so passionate about. And that's only James Mangold's own experience with his film. Like, he doesn't know what Zack Snyder went through. He doesn't know Zack Snyder's experience or what he wants from his Zack Snyder's Justice League. He wants it to be released and he wants fans to see it. He wants to end his trilogy on a high. Copland is very different from what Justice League is, with all due respect. This was my response on Twitter. I'm not mad at all by James Mangold's comments, to be honest. He's one of my favourite directors. His comments are of someone who doesn't know the full story and just going off about what he's seen himself. I hope we show him the real truth in a respectful way. And yes, his opinion is kind of someone who doesn't know the full story. He's not a big DCU fan or DC Schneider fan like we are. We know everything that happens within the essence of the Schneider Cut name. He wouldn't know. and his opinion is of someone who doesn't know every single detail and every single thing that has happened with Zack Snyder and reports and news that is broke. So that's my opinion on what his opinion is, and that's what it seems to be. And my response to his comment about Copland, I understand completely what you're saying, James, but Zack's film isn't just a few scenes or half a film cut. It's a 3 hour plus film with scenes we never see before, and were completely cut, reshot with different dialogue. Much respect, I'm just trying to show you the truth. And look, Copland wasn't changed in the way that Zack Snyder's Justice League was. Zack Snyder's Justice League, he had a family tragedy, he had to leave the project. His entire film was reshot or cut and changed up. Fabian Wagner, of course, I've said this before, said that they only used 10% of Zack Snyder footage in the actual theatrical version. So the film that we seen in 2017 was 90% Josh Whedon and 10% Zack Snyder. And Zack Snyder's name is on that. Now, James Mangold, it's not a Zack Snyder film. He wants to see his entire film released. And he also said that I doubt very much that Zack is waking every day thinking about the 3 hour cut. That's completely wrong as well. Zack interacts with the fan base weekly about his cut of Justice League. When we run events or camp, he shares pictures. He's tweeted hashtag release the Snyder cut. He's met with fans. He wants this film. So for me, James Mangold doesn't know the full story. He doesn't know what Zack Snyder wants. His opinion was one of trying to be smart and taking a swipe of the fan base and maybe of Zack Snyder himself, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's only his opinion, and we shouldn't get angry over an opinion. Yes, we should give a constructive opinion of our own back, and if you feel passionate about it, of course, go to James Mangold's comments and educate him respectfully on what the Snyder Cut movement is and what Zack Snyder's Justice League is. A lot of people did that. Not very few people got really angry and abusive. The majority was in a good, constructive tone, and they gave their opinion. They showed James Mangold how wrong he was in his thinking of the Snyder Cut movement and of Zack Snyder himself. So I'm very proud of everyone involved with the movement who did that. It could have went bad very quickly. And of course, James Mangold is probably being fed by these bloggers and clickbait articles about the Snyder Cut movement being bad. And maybe that's just what he's seen, and that's what these clickbait headlines are trying to do, make us look bad. But at the end of the day, like the Harley Quinn show, we take these things on the chin, we get it, and we use it in a positive way. We use this in a positive way. James Mangold is a big director. We got him talking about the Snyder Cut, but we also, in his comments, showed him, and people who maybe aren't familiar with the Snyder Cut, how wrong he was and exactly what we do and what it is. So this isn't a loss. This isn't anything to get angry over. I think it's an interesting opinion to listen to of a high-profile director in the movie business, and we showed him in a respectful way what the right way is. And at the end of the day, it's his opinion and it's our opinion, and we're just giving a constructive debate on what's everyone's thinking. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of James Mangold's comments about the Snyder Cut and his swipe. Did it make you angry? Did you understand where he was coming from? Did you give him a constructive opinion of your own? Just let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, interact with me as a movie fan. Let's build a strong movie positive environment. Come follow me on Twitter at MovieBuff100. Come follow me on Instagram at movie_buff10. And thanks very much, guys. I'll see you next time.